It is 2 o'clock here Sunday afternoon. With the wind, it's actually cooling off, so it's right in the low 50s, but it feels like 45. But when that wind blows, it feels like it's closer to 40. So I am cool, but I got the tanks covered. I got 2 scoops of pea gravel on top of them. And I told Stacy I might have to put an internal brace on the larger one, depending on how it did with the pea gravel on it. I put pea gravel over the top because compared to this wet clay, when you're talking about a cubic yard, 1 cubic yard of pea gravel weighs about 250, I think, maybe 300 pounds less than a cubic yard of wet clay. So 300 pounds is quite a bit. So I decided to use that pea gravel there just to see, and you could kind of tell there's a little scoop that I've kind of done with my foot because I could see that larger tank flexing because it's such a larger open area for that weight to kind of push down on. So I'm probably going to cut a 2x4. I got some pressure treated stuff back there. I'm probably going to cut 2 of them and put them on either side of the opening, and then I'll probably just shove a 2x4 underneath them, so it'd be like a 2x4 laying flat this way, and then 2 2x4s going up, so that the weight isn't just pushing straight down onto the base and trying to tear through the bottom. Those are polyethylene tanks, which are pretty strong. It's a pretty strong material. However, much like any tank that isn't made for what I am using it for, almost every tank you can buy in the store is not intended for in-ground use. I'm sure that has something to do with them trying to control what people do. So I'm making that work for us. I definitely want to recommend that for the long term. But since I kind of got that done, I don't know if you could see this mess over here, but trying to get this initial couple of things of dirt in here before I put this pea gravel, the tractor pretty much almost got stuck here just because it's sunk in pretty bad. That's after I filled it a couple of times. So then I decided to try to come around this way, thinking I could maybe come and kind of, this was a mound that came out to about here, thinking I could try to scoop some of it in there. But you can see I ended up with a track going this way and a track going where that shovel is, and all those little pieces of wood I threw in the tracks trying to get traction. But much like my boot just standing here is full of mud and hard to walk around, that tractor does the same thing. So I spent a solid hour just trying to get the tractor unstuck from here so I could finish filling in around the edges and behind and underneath that pipe before I topped it off with this pea gravel. But that's pretty much done. I decided, since I was up here and it was nasty anyways, I took the box grader or the box blade, and you can see some grass coming up from where this mud has kind of been tracked over it from the digging the trenches. So I was trying to get the box blade down in there and get back down to like solid ground, if you will. And you can see on this side over here I got down a little deeper because I think I'm going to end up having to move the camper over a little bit. I was kind of thinking it would end, or the side of it would be kind of in this line here, but just more, I look at the space. I'm going to take some measurements here in a little bit. I think it might be better if it was about 2 foot over this way. In which case that means this whole section over here, where you can see that pretty good tire print from the tractor, and then over to the left of that tire print, another foot needs to be graveled and leveled out. So I'm probably going to spend another hour maybe doing that. not too much. But if I'm doing that, that definitely means I'll need more gravel. So I'm just going to get another tandem axle truck, which is 20 tons, which will be more than enough. I'll probably have too much, but I can just scoop it and move it down and use it on other parts of the driveway. So I'm not worried about having too much, but it will allow me to pretty much put gravel from right here, where you can see the line of gravel, over to somewhere in here, probably where this couple of clumps is, and you can kind of where a couple of clumps are, and you can kind of see just some rough mud from me dragging stuff and trying to level this section where the camper's going to go. But I think in the end, putting that much gravel in here will probably end up working out. One, short term, and you can see the water kind of permeating through that gravel from up high. As I was dragging that dirt and stuff, you could just see water kind of coming out, real shallow surface water coming out. So it's working its way through the gravel and then coming out down there at the lower spot. So that's good. But the more we look at this property, you know, back there where the trailer is, you should be able to see it. It's way in the back, it's dark. That's where we're planning on putting the house. On this side of the tractor, it goes down pretty good. It's a good 5 or 6 foot drop depending on where you're standing, and it shallows out back there. It's deeper over here. You know, we really love that huge tree. We don't know what it is yet. There's some really pretty poplars over here. This is a young poplar, and it is in pretty good shape, pretty good health. So we kind of want to keep that. We think that might be some type of elm next to it. It's got smooth bark on it, and the leaves are a little serrated. So I gotta search that tree some more. But in order to get a driveway up there, we're either cutting through this angle and maybe coming out over there, somewhere along in there, or we're coming in where I've kind of been expanding this entrance for the camper. And the more I'm up here working, the more I think this just might be the easier choice for driveways. One, because this is already pretty solid up there. I mean, that's been a drive for a while. Two, most of these trees are scrawny and nasty, and I wouldn't feel too bad if we had to lose a couple of them. You know, there's that pine tree there that I want gone eventually. There's that pine tree over there that I want gone eventually. But if we just took that tree out, and maybe this tree out, which I think this is a maple, actually, now that I see that leaf for the first time. I forget what that is. But if we were to get these two trees out, you know, that wouldn't be too bad of an up for a driveway. And it would actually probably look pretty nice. This is a little bitty dogwood, if I remember right. So it'd be sad to get that thing gone, but it is in pretty sad shape. Not many leaves on it. There's only 1 or 2 branches that actually have leaves. So again, don't feel bad about cutting that tree. And then there's 2 pine trees, one there and then one over there, that we could cut. And then, you know, the driveway would just kind of come in about where this stump is. That'd be the low side, and then the high side would be over here somewhere. Now that'd be a nice big wide drive. You know, we could easily make the turn in from this road and then go down. Of course, then you see those 2 trees right there. But if we get this pine tree out of here, which it's really, really tall, and I'm not ready to cut it yet. But if we were to get that thing out of here, we can end up with a drive that kind of comes through here where this tractor is, where the camper's going to be, and potentially come around this set of trees here. This would take some work, some grading, some leveling. I'd want to put a retention wall up there just to keep dirt back, which just takes some time, and then we'd work our way back to that house back there. So we'll see. There's plenty of room. If I got rid of this little tree, whatever this is, you know, there'd be enough room to not have to take too much of that poplar tree. I'm going to put a cone down there so you can see what I'm talking about. But from that poplar, if we kept it, got rid of this little thing, to that cone, there's plenty of space for a car to drive through without having to cut too much. And that's only about 2 foot, maybe 2.5 foot of elevation change from down here on the low spot to where that cone is. So that's not too bad as far as like a wall or something. And then that would just be a really great service road for utilities. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see. I'll talk to Stacy about it. We'll look at this video and we'll probably do some more measurements. But it's gonna start raining here, I think, in about 2 more hours. So I'm gonna kind of wrap it up for the day. I'm gonna paint some